Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Rosie here, and I play Dead by Daylight, so you don't have to. Another video on this Xeno dog shit that's coming into the game. Cause the very first thing we must continue to say, as we move our discussion into what he does, because what he does isn't bad. This chapter is garbage. It's garbage. This chapter is pure shit. The survivor perks aren't too great. Seeing them, this chapter reads, the survivor-sided stuff, at least that one perk, reads much better on paper than it actually looks in execution. The Blast Mine palette variant doesn't look as good when reading it on paper. The killer can actually see when it's there and stuff. That's all that fun stuff. And then the alien reads like total shit, but he doesn't read like the worst thing in the game, but like he doesn't read like he's particularly good either. It's not little nuances, that stuff that's not in there that's actually transforming the way we're looking at this character. But I must continue to say that as we start moving into praise here, this chapter's shit. The license isn't used. The character is very simple and very uninspired. The people that made this do not love the character, and they do not love the franchise that they're doing. To them, this franchise is a box that needed ticked off a series of like 8. Right? That's what this was to these people. And it is very clear that they don't care. They have no passion for what's in the game. Zero. Okay? That being said, as we move into what they actually fucking shout out, and we're going to actually take another organic look, having watched more games and having more analysis under our belt, it's quickly becoming clear that the killers are winning here. You know, that we're winning out with this character versus not having the character in the game. Obviously, the stuff that's not shit, like the thing you got to talk about right away is Tail. Tail's good, and it's fucking the tail makes Windows look like a fucking joke. If you've watched this fucking character play, he makes the Windows look like total fucking garbage. And if you know where the game is right now with the fucking fast vault changes and the made for this is and the resilience, Windows are far from garbage right now. They are insanely busted. And to watch this character play the game and just fucking, it looks like he might be able to react upon a vault and get a tail. Like, it honestly looks that good. But that startup is not bad at all. It's not. The startup of Tail Attack is not bad at all. The range, it's not as big as Tier 3 Nemi. It's not quite that big. But it's still it looks much better and more consistent. And they can't scrub tech it. So that's something else they can't do to cheese it. Like, you can't cheese it. It's an actual, like, he can get you pretty much anywhere. You can't just, like, crouch in front of a pallet and not get hit. You just can't do that against him. So that's out. They can't do that. The Tail's range is really big. He can hit over shit. He just needs, like, he needs line of sight, yes, but, like, the range is, like, big enough and stuff to where, like, it's just, like, you can't just, like, I'm sure he's going to have the Nemesis counterplay where they, like, pretend to run through it, some tiles that are oddly shaped. It just depends on the height of the tile. Nemesis can break a pallet. He can't, but I think he zones in other ways. The way I've watched people zone with him is, like, they fire the tail and then kind of stand back and then see, like, they kind of pressure you off and zone you to the corner a little bit. So it's, like, the character zoning isn't necessarily worse than the Nemesis's. It's just different. It works a little bit differently. Pallets are a little bit stronger because Nemesis can't just shred through them like Nemesis can. But that being said, this character makes Nemesis look like a fucking joke. Nemesis and Demogorgon both look like a fucking joke now. There's no objective reason to play them. Our boy Herman was pointing this out, and someone was like, if you played a good demo, you know that's not true. Demo's still good. Like, or he said something along those fucking lines. That's not what Herman said, bro. That's not what he said. He said Demo's power crept. That's what you are watching DBD power creep in action here. Both Demogorgon and Nemesis there's objectively no reason to ever touch them again. Objectively. From an objective standpoint, they are both power crept, and their niche is filled by this character. There's no reason to ever touch them again. He's better than both of them, and, like, he does, like, anything you get out of their powers, anything good that you get out of their powers, you also get here. So there's no reason to fucking touch them again. But that's just the chase power, right? We just talked about Tail there's the whole other stuff of the game that makes it leading to our favor. The turrets are fucking useless. The turrets are fucking garbage. They are just trash right now. Expect a buff for them coming into live servers, because they are fucking trash right now, dude. Which is really unfortunate, because I feel like they're gonna overtune them and make them busted. But right now they're just not doing anything. I've seen plays where the Xeno just fucking charges right into the fire, ignores the turret completely, and then gets out of it quick enough to still retain tail mode. It's not even like a 1-for-1 where you get knocked out of it instantly. You can ignore the turret for a second and then dip and then keep tail mode, which keeping tail mode, again, because we just established that tail is good, because of course it is. It can hit over pallets and windows and it's got good range. Of course it's fucking good. Of course it is. Again, it's good. But because you can keep it and the turrets are not really effective he can fucking destroy a turret with his huge range and still keep you zoned. That's something that's still he can still keep you zoned as he blows shit up, which is really good. Because, the turrets just aren't doing anything right now. The stagger is nothing. You can keep tail mode, and they're just not doing anything. And because they're not doing anything, that warrants a buff, which I'm not opposed to. I mean, it's stupid for the survivors to have to pick these things up, move it 2 miles an hour, and then put them down, and then they don't do anything. So I understand that the turrets need a buff, and should get one. But behavior, this is my concern. Behavior's going to overtune the fuck out of them, and you know it. You know it. As soon as behavior talks about the buff to these fucking turrets, the buff's gonna be insane. They're gonna make the fire a fucking pallet stun. They're gonna do something insanely fucking stupid that's gonna radically transform the gameplay in the other direction and make it fucking broken as fuck. The only thing that you really have to do is increase the stagger just a little bit, and then just a second, not a whole lot. It's not noticeable right now. It is not even, the stagger really isn't noticeable right now. So I can only imagine what it looks like with that yellow add-on that makes it even not as bad. It's barely noticeable, and you can still fucking get out. You can fucking keep fucking tail mode. The turrets do not do anything. They're just there to shoot fire and be part of the license, because, lol, that's what they came up with, bro. So expect a buff for those things, and I will warn you about how bad that is when the buff comes out, because they are getting one. I promise that the turrets are getting buffed. Do not expect this to go live the way that it is, because it's not. And then the other thing on this character, the key to mastering Alien is not the chase. Okay, because hit and run is better than it's good. Hit and run is decent again, right? 4v1 map pressure is better again. It's getting better because hooks are getting worse. That means tunneling is getting worse. Hooks are getting worse. Chases are getting longer. Tunneling is getting worse. So 4v1 map pressure is slowly becoming better again. The key to mastering this character is going to be how you properly use the tunnels. Okay, and I must admit, as I have watched more of the character, I am more of a fan of this tunnel thing than you probably feel like I might be. Now, again, I am against the tunnel idea on this particular character, the Xenomorph. The Xenomorph shouldn't have this. It shouldn't be him. He should be a 4v1 character, center around face huggers, fucking infecting survivors with chest bursters and blowing them up through chest bursters. The Xeno should be about spreading other Xenos, because that's what they did. That's what they do. The Xenomorph does not serve the entity; he serves the queen. You can't tame a Xeno. That's the lore. That's actually the lore. You cannot make a Xeno do what you want it to do. That's the lore. There was an experiment done in the Alien EU. I think this is real. I think this is canon. It might not be, but I'm not an alien lore expert. But there was an experiment done on a Xeno in the Alien extended universe where the guy raised it from birth. Okay, he raised it from birth. From the second it was a chest burster, he raised it and tried to form a bond with it and shit. You know how that story ended? When it got the call for the hive, the Xeno slightly hesitated before it killed him. That's the lore. You can't tame these things. All it did, that was lore. It slightly hesitated and then killed him anyway, and then left, and it doesn't care, because that's not the lore. So the fact that the entity can tame the Xenos is so perfectly and make it just do what all the other killers are doing is totally against the alien lore. It is. But again, so I'm totally against this particular power, because it's against the lore and doesn't fit the character, aside from the fact he runs fast and hits with tail. But beside the point, objectively speaking and objectively looking at what they're doing here, these tunnels are well designed. These tunnels are the most well-designed thing about the character. He can go under the ground, he moves really fast, and he actually does get undetectable when he's in the tunnel. He actually does get that. So, he's running around, he's running under the map, which is really cool. It's really cool and a really neat killer idea. I just aim against it on Xeno. But I think it'll grow on me. The tunnels look cool. They're aesthetically pleasing. They look like they're the closest thing resembling alien texture. Like, it looks like alien. That's the closest thing that looks like an alien hive, is the tunnels. So you're running around. You can pop out of the... most of them are just right by gens. You pop out. The pop-out animation is also pretty quick. It looks to be delayed if you pop out near a hook. It looks to be that way, because of course it is. But the animations to pop out seems really fast. Your cooldown shoots into hypersonic speeds. You'll get runner mode really fast when you go into one of the tunnels. And the best, that you can still hear gens being worked on. You can hear things. The best part about it is you can still see gen auras, you can still hear things, and you can see their footprints, which is not in the power description. You can see their footprints as they are running across. So, like, of course, correct counterplay. I'm sure you can't see them. Maybe you can't see them if they're, like, crouching or, like, crouch walking or maybe even just walking. But, like, you can see their footprints as they move around the map, which is honestly it's really cool. The game, you can see the footprints from a pretty decent distance away, as well as even if the footprints are not in your line of sight, the game will tell you that there's footprints on the screen by flashing an orange thing in the direction you need to turn around to actually see the prints. So, this killer's early game is going to be insanely good, because he has so many tools for detection, and the fast movement speed that he needs to actually detect survivors and enter a chase very, very quickly. You slap Corrupt on this character, mwah, he's going to have some decent early game. And if you can get a quick down, jump right back in the tunnel, fucking do it again. Force the pressure, force the fucking, again, like, don't hook them, fuck hooking. If you're first down, no. Down somebody, jump right back in that tunnel, fucking move, start spreading your pressure, getting multiple people off gens, multiple people to move. Use your good chase power to get some downs, throw them on hooks, and then the hooks will start after you start slowing the game down. You can just fucking... It looks like this character has enough speed to actually manage the board, which, to be fair, cool. Good stuff. You made run fast and hit with tail. Good job. I didn't think you'd find another way to do it, but you did it. You run fast, hit with tail. But the actual, the mastery of the tunnels here is the most important thing in the character. Yes, you have to have important chase mastery too, but it's like, if you've fucking played fucking Nemesis, this ain't looking much different. The chase power does not look much better or worse than Nemesis's on a surface level. Of course, there's a few things, like you can't scrub tech it. It looks like its startup might be a little better. There's a few... it has certain aspects of it that look better than Nemesis is, but it's... I still think, as a pure chase power, it can't be so much better than Nemesis is. It just can't. It's like the same thing, but even with less range. But, so it can't be that much better. Is it better? Yes, I think so. It looks... again, startup looks better. It looks like you have more control of your camera a little bit, and it looks like, again, the startup reacting through the window, like, it looks better. It looks like you're going to be able to play more tiles than Nemesis can. The range looks like it's going to be able to hit people at weirder angles than Nemesis. Like, it looks better. And maybe it is a whole tier better. And it's just a very surface level comparison. We'll have to see. Again, we got to get a feel for him when it comes out. Again, I hate PTBs. People just get to feel the killer out before, because you can't determine a true analysis of this shit until you get your hands on it. But that is important, and I don't want to downplay chase. Like, the chase is an important thing in the game, but especially with gen speeds right now, you have to have board management, and you have to have 1v4 game, and you have to be able to section 3 gens off. And this character, with his speed, is going to be able to do that. His speed and detection abilities, mastery of the tunnels, using the tunnels in chase, using the tunnels to kind of follow a survivor as they run from you, and kind of hear their... I'm assuming you can hear gens, so I'm assuming you can hear grunts of pain too. Using their grunts of pain, using their footprints, using their movements to pop out at another tunnel. You can kind of cut them off like doing teleport power, right? I'm assuming you can do that. It might be, again, the mastery of these tunnels, doing everything that you can do to get value out of them, and I'd rather that be recharge or cooldown. Maybe you got burned by a turret, you blow up the turret, jump back in another tunnel, pressure a different survivor for some hit run in that area, right? Build up your save stacks. M1 into tail hit looks fucking disgusting. It looks really fucking good. with save. If you have 8 save stacks and the tail hit looks really good. But yeah, let's add 5% haste. I'm sure that'll fucking make it better. Trash. But like the character actually, the more you watch him, I'm not gonna say he's gonna grow on you. I'm not gonna say that because, again, aesthetically speaking, this is a letdown. But if you truly objectively examine the character and what he brings to the game, you should be liking what you see more and more. You should be. He's got lethality. He's got map movement. He's got detection. He's got everything you need to be a good killer in this game. AQ actually completely 180'd on him overnight on me, where he was posting, ha ha ha, how bad, look how trash this is. I woke up today with messages that he's top 5 in the game. Now, again, he's not out yet. I don't like screaming broke top 5 in the PTB. I do analyze with something called seniority advantage. If something comes out that seems to be as good as something that's just in the game, if it's not super obvious, I usually lean with the older content. That's just how that's just my standard. Like I choose to side with older content just because we know more about it. Yeah, and you have to wait for that counterplay to develop, and you have to wait to see what they decide to do to it before you make a judgment call. So, but that being said, when you look at all this character's tools, there's no question to me, especially if windows are on reaction. If he can tail on reaction to a window vault, he's top 10. There's no question he's not top 10 if he can do that. He is absolutely top 10 if he can tail hit or on reaction to a window vault. Which, again, not saying you can do that. I've only seen games, so I can only guess what these people are doing. And again, it's PTB. Everyone's dicking around. They're not telling you what they're doing. I hate the way this game tests killers and tests new content. It's terrible. A very select group of high-level players should be getting in there. Not the mainstream content creators. They don't know what they're doing. That being said, a few people look like they know what they're doing. Turjay seems to have a decent idea of what he's doing with them. Just some other characters. Again, I don't watch these streamers. I don't. But I'm kind of starved for content. Of course, True is okay. Turjay, I actually did watch King Wolf today. He looked like he knew what he was doing a little bit as well. Sorry, Wage. But it's like, so like the people are figuring them out, and this is leaning in our direction. Our 1v4 being good, the 1v1 being good, combined with the fact that the turrets just don't look very useful on the survivor end, so there's really no reason to use them, so the counterplay looks extremely limited right now. Don't expect this to come to the live servers. This character's getting nerfed before it comes into the servers. That might be in the form of a turret buff, and they leave the rest of him alone and just see what the turret buff does. I don't know what they're going to do. But what I do know is, you know as well as I do, that this decent killer, this good killer, is not coming to live servers. We've seen this over and over and over again. When a good killer comes out, they're done. You can't do what this guy's doing in PTB right now. You just can't. He has everything. He's not bad at anything. Now, it is a license, so maybe he'll get a pass for a little bit, and they'll let him be good. Like Wesker's getting a free pass, Sadako's getting a free pass for right now. Licenses do get free passes from time to time, so we'll see what they end up doing here. But I would not expect some form of reversion. But they're going to hit him in the turrets. The turrets are useless right now. The most underdeveloped part of the kit is the survivor turrets, which again, they were probably a last-minute addition. They probably were. That's why they feel and look so rushed. They're just rushed content because they're trash. But so the point of that is, like, again, bad decision with the franchise to do this power with this killer. They could have done something more alien-y. But they did objectively make a killer that's actually good here. And the more games you actually watch of him, the more you will see that he brings a lot of positive traits to the table. They're not unique positive traits. They're positive traits we've seen over and over again, but at least they're there. At least they're there. At least he's going to be worth he's going to be worth the spend on the cells. He's going to be worth it. He's going to be a worth it killer, at least for a little bit. Maybe he'll get gutted in like 5 months. But he looks great. He objectively looks great. He makes windows. Again, watch good Xenos in the PTB play windows. They make them look like a joke. And they're the most busted thing in the game right now. The range makes made for this slightly worse, which is big. Like he's got all the tools in this game to counter the haste meta and be a decent killer. He's got all the tools to have good map movement to section 3 gens off. He's got all the tools to have a good tunnel game. He's got all the tools to pretty much do whatever he needs to do to make a win happen. As the meta, like, you've seen this all the time. With a killer like Freddy. Okay, remember when Freddy was reworked? Freddy was reworked, and he had a power that was very devoted to that meta. The teleport was made for Pop Goes the Weasel plays. It was specifically designed so you would use Pop Goes the Weasel and then do something with it, right? Leave the hook, teleport to a gen that you barbecued. Like, he was designed for perks. Freddy was designed for perks, okay? That made Freddy really good in the 2019 metagame that he was designed for and he came out with. Then the fucking perks got nerfed, and Freddy took a hit as well, but like the perks got nerfed, Freddy lost a bit of direction, and after he took a nerf, the character is in limbo right now. He can't do anything. He's trash. This killer does not seem to be designed with any few specific perks in mind. He seems to be able to he's going to be able to do everything, which means whatever the meta is, he's going to be able to adapt to it very quickly. If slugging's the meta, oh, cool. I don't get tail mode off a cooldown. I can slug. 1v4 is meta, great. I have big tunnel potential. I have tunnel potential, as in I can go through my tunnels. Whoa, tunneling's meta, I have a tail that's really good as well. I can do anything. The character can pretty much do anything you need him to do in any specific situation, which makes him adaptable to metagames, as well as adaptable in the mid-game if you need to transition over to a different style. If you're trying to fucking 1v4 pressure and then decide you need to camp in the mid-game and gens start getting done, he's going to be able to do that for you. You need a tunnel, he's going to be able to do that for you. Especially if you start building your save stacks up with him. Because he's going to get really lethal when you have 6 to 8 stacks of save and then you do M1 and 2 tail hit. It's going to be broken. It's going to be really good. So, hide your disappointment, I guess. Because as disappointing as what they did, as uninspired as what they did is, he's not nothing, and he's actually going to be pretty decent. So, we'll see where he ends up falling. AQ's convinced he's like top 5. Again, I'm not going that far yet. I'm just going to wait to see what he does. We're going to be playing him. You know we will. But until he comes out, I think that's all we got to say on him, at least until the nerfs are revealed. But until then, lads, I'm getting the hell out of here. GG's.